Hi, everyone. Very good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. This is Rob from The Drunken Grape, and we're going to talk about virtual tastings. And today is a twist. It's normally I host these things, but I'm actually handing the keys to a legend in Ottawa. He's my great friend, the host of Daytime Ottawa, as well as Boom 99.7, some of the best music played on the radio station and the airwaves here in Ottawa. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dylan Black taking the keys over to interview myself tonight.
Well, my goodness, Rob, Stephen, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm busy. It's been a busy period. A lot of repositioning of the business, obviously, since COVID came about. And I think life in general for everybody, really.
Crazy year indeed, but I know that you've been pivoting throughout the pandemic and the holiday season, so we're going to talk about all that. Now, you bill yourself as a wine spirits beer consultant. You're also a sommelier. What is a Prud'homme beer sommelier? I see that by your name as well.
So Prud'homme's named after Louis Prud'homme, who was the first captain of the militia and the founder of the very first commercial brewery in Canada in 1650 in New France and Fort Ville Marie, which is now present day Montreal. So that's how the name of that program came to be. Now, the originator of it is basically a master of beer, an absolute genius with beer named Roger Middag, who started this back in the 1990s and solidified this particular program in 2009. So it's very much like a wine sommelier program. There's various levels to achieve. The first level is typically online. It's an intro level. Second level, I think, is now finally online too, which is great, but it's more the intermediate beer specialist or professional level. Then there's the beer sommelier level, which is quite difficult and quite a bit of time. And then there's the master beer sommelier program, which I've yet to do. I just haven't had the time to do it. And with what's been going on, it's really sort of limited that particular class session and time to Toronto. But that is, it's at least a year, I believe a year long, if not longer, study that really covers a whole myriad of aspects of beer. So basically, the Prud'homme beer program is one of the main two certification bodies in North America. The other one would be Cicerone. The main difference is one is American-based and mostly self-learning with a self-syllabus, whereas Prud'homme is in-class and very interactive. And you cover things like beer styles, history of beer, brewing techniques. You cover beer with food, beer with cheese, hops, the various malts. We actually went in the level 3 class and visited Canada Malting House. We made a batch of beer. It was a Saison or farmhouse ale. Actually, I have one here in a little bit to talk about from Dominion City Brewing, which they're fantastic brewers. But it's we made a batch of Saison as well at Big Rig Brewery called It's Not Your Last Saison. It was made by it was hilarious. It was actually made by the 6 or 7 students, myself included, that graduated from the level 3 program. And at the time, there was no level 4 program. That was actually the highest accolade in the program. So it's kind of cool to see it evolve. And I believe there's like tens of thousands of graduates in this program now. A lot of them are pretty influential in the beer world, as well as Roger has students everywhere. I think he's picked up students now, even in Israel and Iran and various different reaches of the earth. India on top of Europe, Canada, the States. So it's very much a certification program that works very much the same way on sensory perception, blind tastings, all sorts of things like wine would.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just beer.
Yeah. Okay. I know you know your stuff.
I don't mean just beer, but it's beer. Yeah.
So celebrate anniversary this year. So 5 years in business, right? With the Drunken Grape?
Yeah, as of October, it was just 5 years. And obviously a lot has changed. Before I used to actually do physical events when those things happened, when large gatherings that people used to enjoy being around each other without the fear of this pandemic or disease, which, to me, it's obviously seriously an ailment and we got to be mindful. And, I do believe in science, but at the same time, I think there's some extreme measures. We shouldn't have shut everything down. And this is already doing far more damage than the actual disease has done. So the pivot, however, had to happen. Obviously, I couldn't focus on doing live events, and getting into wineries and breweries to shoot video obviously would be a little tricky traveling outside of the Ottawa area too. So yeah, no, it's been a very interesting time, and I've really tried and worked hard to make the best of it.
Okay. I know off air we were talking about how your business is growing though. So it's actually flourishing right now. So how is it able to flourish under all these extreme measures that we've had to take in 2020?
Well, as you know, I've been active on social media for a long time and built up quite a strong following, particularly on LinkedIn, which ties you into real serious professionals, business owners, managers, the kinds of people that would actually book me for events.
Mm-hmm.
So the shift for me started in March. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I decided to help showcase some wineries and breweries within Ontario to lift the Ontario market. At that time, I started to work on a YouTube channel I never really used before. Before 4 years, I used it for clips from Daytime Ottawa, or, I used it to do certain film edits, but it was nothing serious. And I started to establish that as a back engine for marketing and branding.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was, obviously, over the summer, we weren't sure what was going on. I actually had a great, fun little job at a beach bar. It was Bananas Beach Bar and Grill at Petrie Island, owned by the Masons, Trevor and Jewel Mason. Yeah, awesome couple. And it was a lot of fun working there, but it gave me time to reflect. And I was thinking the whole time, well, what are we going to do? Like, nobody knew what was going to happen to the event space. Nobody knew what was going to happen with a vaccine. The government on that front had us wondering what's going to happen next. So
Mm-hmm.
it really dawned on me in August to start marketing virtual events. You could cross borders, time zones, you can go into different countries, and you could showcase your knowledge to a team, a bunch of friends. It could be a business association. A lot of it is actually turning out to be corporate, but
Yeah.
it gives you an opportunity instead to have a virtual event. And really what happens is the wine or beer that you plan on this side of the border ends up in their hands. So that makes it kind of tricky. In Canada, it's pretty easy because it's easy to coordinate. We're all within the same country. Shipping and delivery is very, very simple and very effective. That's one
Yeah.
area that's also exploded with COVID and made things a lot easier. But yeah, there's been a substantial growth in the virtual side, which has gotten me already in a short period of time much busier than when I was working on the physical event side, which is a huge blessing. And I think, we obviously don't know the future and we can't see the future, but becoming and developing myself into a subject matter expert, not just in wine, but in also beer, opened up avenues into virtual beer tastings on top of wine tastings. And in fact, the beer tastings are moving better and quicker. And I think a lot of that has to do with the commonality of beer, and the product is cheaper to obtain and easier to obtain. So it's a variety of factors, but yeah, no, it's been a huge success. I just finished doing an event for Canvas Pop here in the city on this
Yeah.
past Friday, and they loved it. And then before that, I had another event with a company in the States. I've got a couple other pieces of business coming up into the US as well. So it's a variety of things that came together for me well. And having some experience, quite a bit of experience with public speaking. I was in the cruise line industry for almost a decade and always on stage as an entertainment boss or an auctioneer of artwork or sports memorabilia. And then, of course, being on set with you numerous times, or Derek beforehand with Daytime Ottawa, it just kept the wheels going. And then, of course, I
Yeah.
started to get into doing all kinds of video to broadcast and promote the brand, The Drunken Grape.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think it's just, it's a lot of humbleness and hard work, humility. I'm very grateful. I mean, I'm just, in some senses, it's kind of luck that all the timing came together for this to happen, because my long-term vision and goal was always to be able to work anywhere, wherever I wanted to go, and just bring the work with me. And now that's really kind of happened.
It's good. So silver linings, I guess, to this whole.
Yeah, I mean, we both have had hard years. We lost family. There's just been revenue streams cut. Obviously, I had a job at a hotel where I was very senior staff, and a convention center where it's all events based. They were a lot of fun. It's a shame to not see things like Ringside for Youth, for instance. I think that's gone anyway, but the Christmas and holiday parties coming up in particular, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's cool that I'm hosting them on one end, but it's not the same as physically being right in the center of it, hearing music blasting and 400 people having a great time around you.
Well, I
And
couldn't. Sure.
that part's been trying, and I missed that part.
Yeah, because here you and I are, and normally we're in a studio, and we get to talk beforehand and see each other and hugs and all that, and everything's great.
Yeah.
Looking through a screen, and it's very different. But so as far as the Christmas season, the holiday season is concerned, everything must be virtual for you then.
It
Right?
is. So the website's being revamped, but the website currently was revamped to reflect that. So what people can do is actually fill an order form online, right, and below the virtual event or media side if they want video done for their winery or brewery. And yeah, we can take it from there. So the whole online activity is taken off, and my site is moving to Shopify. So it'll actually have a whole e-commerce selection where you can pick out the standard package as opposed to like a concierge package, and packages that are tiered moving upwards from that. So it is a neat time. There's expansion going on for me at a time which I never thought there really would be. But at the same time, we all took a hit. I took a big hit with obviously all those parties not coming in, and pretty good, a very nice salary at the hotel or wage at the hotel to do these things because it's all built in. And yeah, that was a punch. So I'm grateful I'm able to recover it and grow it. But it sort of hits the same timing belt. If you see what a lot of businesses or careers do for people, it's usually after the 5th year they see liftoff. It takes a long time. It's a different beast. I mean, it's not just knowledge in your field, but it's how to brand, how to sell. You got to be out there selling and soliciting it all the time. You got to move it. You always have to work on some component of it to make sure that that plane takes off and lands properly. And it's a never ending battle. When it grows, you have to hire people, you have to scale. That brings in a new set of growing pains before it stabilizes and so on. So it's a very interesting journey indeed. And in a lot of ways, I feel very blessed to be going through it.
Well, let's talk about how you bring happiness to the holiday season then this year through the Drunken Grape. What are some of the services people can go to your website to find out about?
Well, the two main ones are if they want a hybrid of a virtual wine and beer tasting, a virtual wine tasting, or a virtual beer tasting. I mean, it depends on the crowd, but these events bring a lot of joy. The huge problem right now, and what we're seeing right now of the pandemic, particularly big office towers don't exist anymore. The staff have been scuttled and they're working from home. Shopify, for instance, an amazing company, headquartered here in Ottawa. We should be proud of that. That's pretty cool. They're not even filling their huge office tower anymore. I think on 160 or 140 Elgin, it's right by Gowling's law firm and the Bell Tower. That beautiful tower they built is gone. It's empty. Not a single soul works for it. Maybe somebody from HR fills some space and some shipping and receiving, and collecting of mail, but probably nothing else. Everyone's working from home. And with various lockdown and pre-lockdown and orange and red and yellow and whatever it might be, the situation of where we're at with various degrees of lockdown, there's definitely been a huge negative impact on emotional well-being and happiness. And these events bring a lot of a lift and a huge amount of happiness to people because they're able to interact. When you do a tasting, say an hour and 15-minute tasting, it's typically about the length of time. I book it for an hour, but I always give them about 75 minutes. And for the first 40 minutes, it's really me talking, whether it be the history of that region, that beer, that style, that country, that empire, or just a history blurb in general, followed by getting into the tastings. You usually are wrapped up about 45 minutes in, and that includes the tasting. But the lecture part's really, I don't even like to call it that. It's a facilitation. Really is about 20, 25 minutes. And then you're already into the tasting. And then from there, it already gets interactive. And it's cool because you wrap it up with a good Q&A session at the end. And what happens is it turns into a party. Everyone just starts joking and laughing, and they start asking all kinds of questions. You sit back and answer it. You get more engaged with it. You're like, did you like that Saison? Did you like that oatmeal stout? What did you find great about that Radler, or, that Belgian wit beer that I have? Or if in case of wine, hey, did you like that Napa Cab Sauv? Did you like that New World blend from Niagara by Foreign Affair Winery that uses semi-dried grapes in it? I mean, you get into this stuff, and then they start expressing themselves, and then they start talking amongst each other. And then you find out when the meeting ends or your event ends that they just launch another Zoom call because they're already there and the party continues virtually for them for the next 2 hours because, well, you've left them with a bunch of beer and wine in their laps, right? So it's so the effect of this is nothing but a net positive. And for companies, their bottom line gets raised because if you got productive workers that come back and they're happy and joyful, well, they're going to put a lot more energy into it. And I'm seeing the opposite, though. However, there's a lot of companies doing nothing, you know, no plans. I've reached out to some of them that were existing clients. Yeah, we're not doing anything this year. And you're like, you're not doing anything at all this year when your people are going through the hardest time. I hope they all pack up and leave. I hope they don't work for you tomorrow. I mean, it's just, that's awful. And this is just me coming out human side now. Forget the business.
Yeah, totally. I get it.
Your number one thing you got to trust is your people. Like, damn it. Like, how much more important? How many times does somebody have to whack you in the head with a baseball bat with that one to figure it out? It's like, hello, you are nothing without good people around you. Nobody is. And this stems in life at everything. I mean, it's fundamental. And that's why it's so important to do things for them and get them to be active. It's critical.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were actually going to show us a couple of picks as well for wines.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Well, I've got a couple here for wine and beer. So I have. Do you like these? I'm going to be giving these away, but these are gnome hats. I don't know if you can see it on the light, but they sit on the bottom of the beer and they're kind of festive. Eh? A friend of mine made them. She's an excellent crochet expert, has designed these. So under here, I mean, this is one of the great picks. This is, I'm going to bring the light up over here, but this is a Foreign Affair winery. So this one's Temptress. It's a bit pricey. So this one's like $44 a bottle, but it's one of the best wines I've had from Ontario, period, ever. Okay. It's a blend. So this one's a blend of 5 different grapes. I think there's Cab Sauv, Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, and something like Syrah or Malbec in it. But they use semi-dried grapes. So some of the grapes stay in a room that they dry out in and concentrate the flavors into the grapes for a few months before they vinify them. So you get higher alcohol, it's bold. I mean, this kind of stuff it's dry, it's fantastic with turkey, or hell, if you just want to sit by the fireplace and have a good time. So that's a great pick. Another one, yeah, exactly. Another one would be Henry of Pelham. This is Old Vines Baco Noir, another one of my favorites. This one retails, I think, for about $20. It's a classic. This one, you get into really jammy notes. You get into like boysenberry and blackberry. I mean, this one's really, really delightful. Bit of really ripe dark cherry in it. It's a bit opulent. I mean, these are fun things in cold weather. Beer-wise, one of my favorite brewers. I showcased this in the beer tasting with that group from Canvas Pop. But you have in here, I'll get that light out of the way so we can see that a little bit better. Maybe not. But anyway, this is a Saison. This is the Revival Hour Saison, which is farmhouse style ale. It's a Belgian style ale done by Dominion City Brewing. Now, this one's awesome. This one has things like white cranberry, nutmeg, on the palate. It's tart, it's acidic, it cuts right into a dish like turkey. If you're not into wine, something like this is just delightful. It's got some good citrus notes to it as well. There's a bit of coriander in there, so maybe hints of clove come up on the palate. Another one was Blanche de Chambly. Now, this is by Unibroue Brewing. It's now owned by Sapiro Group, but this started in Chambly. I'm trying to see if I can get the lighting corrected here, but this is Chambly from Quebec. Blanche de Chambly. So this one is fantastic. It's a Belgian wit style or wheat style beer. It's 30 to 50% wheat. It's hazy in a glass, has this really kind of cool honey character to it. You get coriander, citrus peel on the palate. It's just wonderful. It's very fruity and a bit floral in characteristics. That one is just great just to have all around throughout the season. And it's also been ranked the world's best Belgian wit beer. That is not an easy feat. It's from Quebec, and Quebec brewers are known to really emulate Belgian styles of brewing. The other one is, this is truly local, right downtown on Flora Street. This is Flora Hall Brewing. They made this batch about a week and a half ago. This is their this is their mocha stout. This thing is fantastic. So it's infused with Arlington 5 and Lulo Colombian coffee. This is just awesome. So you get those coffee tastes, a bit of chocolate on the palate, a bit of prune or fig on the palate too. There is a bit of toast in the taste of it. This is a bit of teriyaki sauce sort of on the finish, but this is just wonderful and rich and opulent. It's pretty high alcohol. It's about 7%. It's very well balanced. This is a terrific beer. And these are the things that you can get through the holidays. If you're trying to insource as much as you can, and well, we are forced to do exactly that. These are some of the establishments you want to reach out to. Now, the beauty of Ontario wineries and breweries is they'll just ship to your door. I mean, you don't really have to do too much. You can just go online with your credit card, make a purchase, punch it in, say, see you in about 3 days when that arrives. And it arrives very beautifully and neat, boxed at your entranceway. Somebody rings the doorbell to make sure you are there. And lo and behold, you have wine and beer in your house. So that's just some of the offerings that are out there for people. But definitely take a look at your local LCBO. I do highly stress that you try to stay as local because all this money stays in the economy. And we're at a time where it's desperately needed. I mean, I walked through Maryville Mall with my mask on this early part of the evening into the late afternoon. And the amount of stores that are just being closed left and right are frightening. If we can actually do as much as we can to support that, and that means do not shop on Amazon, people, keep it in-house. You're going to have a much better bet over time of keeping our economy thriving.
Of course, I couldn't agree more, right? And I know that you're bringing a lot of local to the table, and I love that about you. So as far as this holiday season, and we'll wrap things up here soon, but I just want to know how people can get in contact, or is there a time they should probably contact you, because we're getting close here, right? I
would say, well, you know what? I would say they can contact me anytime throughout December, because I have a feeling a lot of parties are going to happen in January or maybe even early February this year too. And you can't fault companies for doing that. I mean, as long as they have a plan in place to look after their people, that's the number one thing I really would command out of them. I think it's ridiculous if you don't. But if you do, I fully get it why you would delay it, because in a lot of cases, they were shut down for 3 and 4 months. There was nothing coming in except expenses, bills, and hydro. This is just crazy. So I understand why they would want to delay it. But if you're looking to do something this month, definitely jump on it, because I am getting busier and busier with it as time goes. They can get a hold of me right through at my website. There's a form they can fill out, simple, thedrunkengrape.com. Or they can hit info@thedrunkengrape.com. And I'm also readily found on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, even though I haven't really used that account a whole lot. It's there. So any one of those avenues, or they can just email me directly at rob@thedrunkengrape.com. And that'll come up in the captions with the edit of this video. There's many ways to get a hold of me. And, I'm always happy to engage. The rule of thumb is at least give me a week and a half or two, preferably 2 weeks. And obviously at that point, we'd have to process the invoice and get working right away, because there are things that go into this. And the biggest one right now is logistics and supply lines, especially if it's north, south of the border, because COVID has really stopped the shipment of quite a bit in the alcohol world that's not local. It's difficult to get certain supplies now. And that's something that we didn't experience before March, that we are now seeing well after March.
Okay. And for anybody watching this video right now or connecting with you on social media, if I can say, if you want to support Rob, you want to support The Drunken Grape, share this. Share this on your social media. Share this video. Share his posts. Share his anything he does, because that's supporting you amongst their networks as well. So I think that's important.
Awesome. Well, thank you for hosting today, my friend. On Rob, this channel, The Drunken Grape. I mean, this is awesome.
And I hope to see you again real soon, Rob. Rob Statham, wine, spirits, beer consultant, drunkengrape.ca. Have a great holiday, my friend.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. Merry Christmas.